What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Deep End Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Eddie. More muscular than before, and shoulders healing up well. So let's get straight into it. Today we have Blak Heni, my brother from the Navy, also a great artist and a father. So big congratulations to him on being a girl dad, and more importantly, congratulations to him on his success. His music is something I listen to regularly. I love his tracks. So please do find him on YouTube, Instagram, and all that at Blak space Heni, Blak Heni. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Are you thinking about making a podcast? Spotify has a platform that lets you make one, and if I can figure it out, you definitely can too. You can create your own content all in one place for free with zero hangups and even earn money as soon as you get started. Spotify lets you record and edit episodes from your phone or computer so you can go mobile, just like I enjoy to do. My favorite thing about it is that you can create video episodes if you wish and upload them to wherever podcasts are heard. You can even set up subscriptions, or if you're like me, listener support options for listeners to help you grow. I 10 out of 10 recommend the Spotify for Podcasters app. Or, why don't you just step over to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your own podcast. All right. So we are live. Thank you so much for joining me all the way from Hawaii. Congratulations on your success so far. I'm very excited for your future endeavors as well. So why don't you tell me a little about who you are behind the music? Like, where did it start for you? What inspired you to begin?
Man, I'm from a small town called Quincy, Florida. It's like 10 minutes away from Tallahassee, Florida. That's what an artist just blew up from there, Boston Richie. Yeah, the real Boston Richie. He's from like 15 minutes away from my hometown. So it's a small town, but it's only just getting recognized. Like, only person other than that is T-Pain, and that was a long time ago. So it's like I started off. Like, a lot of people don't know that I was on drugs. I was a drug addict, man. I was bad at, like, from the ages of 14 to like 17. I made one quick decision. I got kicked out of high school in the 10th grade for possession of marijuana, and I had like brass knuckles and stuff. So I went to alternative school, got and then I was allowed back to East Gadsden, which was my real school because I had good grades. I was always smart. I just did a lot of dumb shit. So it started off there, and it was like, got my diploma, and I was just like, forget basketball, forget everything. It's just like, I'm out there. But I was still on drugs. It was like I couldn't shake it because I was selling drugs at first. Molly was big in my city. It was like we was one of the first ones. We was one of the first ones on it. Like, we brought it to our city, and I found myself with like 8,000 in my pocket one day, like on some shit. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it one day. And it was crazy. After that, I was like 140 pounds, like small, like I got addicted, and I was still doing all right in school though. So a Navy recruiter came and was just like, bro, come to the Navy. And I actually failed my last drug test. Before he sent me the MEPS for Molly, but I had to stay in the hotel for like 2 days, and he was just like, you should be good. Your line wasn't that solid. He was like, you should be good, just go. He was like, just go, get the fuck out of here. Like, so I'm like, all right, bet, appreciate it. So I shit you not, bro, like a week or two into boot camp, I started going through withdrawals, bro.
Oh man. And boot camp is hard enough because you're already going through a culture shock already.
Yeah, so I'm like going through withdrawals. I'm in there about to fight everybody. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm thinking I'm in jail. It's like I'm in jail a little bit. I'm territorial, so I'm kind of emotional because I'm like, bro, I miss my family. I ain't never been gone. But at the same time, that leap of faith that I took, that changed my life for real. Like, at the same time, you can't take the hood out of nigga. You feel me? So 100%. It's like, got to the Navy, and at the same time, it was like I ended up getting put on the news, Wavy 10 for like doing crazy shit. Like, I don't know if you remember that, right?
I definitely do. I'm gonna be honest. I definitely do, man. I was very involved in the local command staff. I ranked up pretty quick, and I tried to always put my best foot forward. Not to mess with anybody else, I try to kind of stick to my own self and mind my fucking business because that's what I was taught. But the Navy, a lot of people in the military, they try to single people out if they're
Yeah.
not going with the flow of, you know, the Navy's needs or that command staff's needs. Or sometimes you got a piss poor leader who wants you to act a certain way, and if you don't go along with their program, hey, you know, you're a shitbag, or you're this, or you're not one of us. And it's like the little good old boys club is what we call it, you know, in our community. We call it a good old boys club. I don't really get along with people like that. I'm for everybody can play a certain role, and not everybody came from the same spot. I got good friends that are from the worst areas of Michigan, Flint, right? And I got friends from Compton. I have friends from Detroit. I got friends from everywhere, and they all had something special. But you know, you can't. You really a lot of times, motherfuckers from the hood do hood shit. It just is
And
what it
what
is.
people
It's
don't know,
cultural.
what people don't know is a lot of people that were in the Navy when we joined, they were given a choice by the judge, like you go to the Navy or you go to jail type. Like, so it's a lot of other niggas in the Navy. I met
100%.
gangbangers. I met all kinds of shit in the military. So it's like shit. So that's where I'm from. So that kind of like draw me. It was like that was what I was related to. So when I first doing it, it's like I couldn't stay out of trouble. But at the same time, on Black and White, I was amazing. Like I was ranked up pretty fast. I was AO2, and like my first contract, I was AO, and I never had an EP. Like I was going crazy. Like I was doing good. But off the grid, when it wasn't about the Navy, I was still selling dope. I was still smoking every day. I was still myself at the end of the day. I just never got caught because everything I did by myself. Like you can't, like that's one thing.
Keep your circle small and there keep the rats out, man.
Yeah, you have too many friends, and then it's like, but I learned that as a kid. That's how I learned it. Like, so when I was in the military, I just learned it first, and then I started doing my thing. Like, it is what it is. I knew I was gonna be good because I got off drugs. After that, I never touched that shit again. Like, I knew I was gonna be good, so I was like, why not just use all that talent? Like, that's when I started taking rap serious because I started rapping at the park with my homies. I got a couple homies, Spurt. Like I got homies back at home with weird names that you probably be like, what the fuck? Like, well, we used to rap at the park, but I never took it serious. It was just freestyle, doom doom. And then I had my daughter, and I ended up getting kicked out of the military because of some bullshit that was telling me I couldn't go to my baby appointments and this, that, because I was, so I was just like, all right, I went UA. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to my baby appointment. Y'all So I went UA, did that, and came back to the military. I went to Mass like 4 times in 2 months. So I came back, and I'm not gonna tell about all the times, but I came back and we was at Command PT, and I was about to go UA again, and Chain was just like, nah, man, just give me a week. I'm gonna get you your DD-214. I was like, all right, bet. Stayed for a week, and next week, Chain brought me my DD-214. They told me I was out of the Navy. I was like, thank God. I got out with honorable. Like, I'm good. Like, I had no worries. I had no worries when I got out. And then they tried to call me like 2 weeks later. It was like, you failed the drug test. I'm like,
that's between you and the Lord, though. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's between you and the Lord.
That's for a later time. Yeah, we passed that.
Honorable. I'm getting all my benefits. Y'all ain't stopping me. So after that, man, I took full advantage. I took full advantage of everything they offered me, bro. I started going. I go to Los Angeles Film School now. I'm learning to produce music. I'm doing my thing, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I came a long way. So it's just like I grew up and I realized that like when God gives you a gift, you don't waste it. Like, don't waste it. You gotta change your environment, change your surroundings, so you don't have to look like you don't have to look hard for nobody. You don't have to impress nobody because all you're gonna do is throw it all away. Like, you're just gonna throw it away. I learned that a lot because I had so many blessings and I just burned bridges, and I was doing a lot of crazy shit back then. But now I take everything more seriously, not just music. I take everything, life, people, like. Shit is crazy. Like, I changed because but at the same time, I still don't give no fucks. So it's like I could take it there, but at the same time, it's like I try to consider everything. I try to look on the brighter side. Most of the time, I'm real optimistic now. I never give up. Like, it's like one day, like, look at the world now. All these rappers coming out, they snitching and shit. I was in the military. I never snitched on nobody. Why the fuck I can't be a rapper? I ain't never snitched on nobody. Even when I did go to jail, I went to jail once in the military. I just went to jail twice this year. Last year, went to jail twice last year. fucking for guns, but it's like not. It wasn't no real serious shit. I ain't have my concealed. I always
Oh
have
yeah,
it.
you slap on the wrist.
Always
Yeah,
have it on me. I always have it on me.
100%, brother. Yes,
And
Lord. Yes, Lord. You got to stay with the shit, man.
yeah, yeah. So it's pretty much I was just grinding. I just had to get out. When I had my daughter, bro, I did everything like I could for my daughter when I was first there. 50-50 custody, this, that, and the third. We was doing good, but everything don't turn out the way you wanted to. So we split up. Me and my baby mama split up, and we went our separate ways. It's like, and now we just fighting for custody. Like it's like one thing leads to another, and once you move on, shit gets hard. Everything gets blurry, and nobody knows what to do. And we're still young for real. So it ain't no. We're gonna figure it out one day. But that really is my motivation. Like my everyday motivation is my daughter. Like that's like whether you believe it or not, whether anybody believe it or not, that's really my everyday motivation. Sometimes I want to give up. Everybody wants to give up. Everybody wants to feel me, but that's my motivation. There's not really much more I can ask for. So like every time I think bad, I just be like, somebody out there going through way worse. Somebody out there going through way worse. So I just gotta be happy. You gotta be happy.
100%, brother. And that's very beautiful that you said that.
Yeah.
I've a lot of friends who are girl dads as well, and I don't think there's anything more beautiful than a father being present as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always work out in relationships, and that's okay. We're all not compatible. If everybody was compatible, we'd all be married to each other, but it ain't that way. And I really think that's awesome, dude. So you talked about a couple things, and I think one thing that spoke out was humility and also understanding your cultural background, right? If you grew up in not everybody has a spoon-fed life with both parents present in a safe environment where you don't have to do what you have to do to survive. Like I have myself and my friends throughout different we all have different paths of life, and nobody has a cookie cutter. Nobody in my current friend group right now has a cookie cutter lifestyle where everything was handed to them.
Nobody. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. It's how you bounce back. It's how you retaliate. You gotta beat your story. Whatever story you gotta come out on top. That's how I feel.
100%, man. And I can see that with your music as well. You're pouring a lot into it. One thing that I wanted to ask about is, do you find there being a constant struggle inherently in all of us for good versus evil? To resort to old ways versus focus on the future, because music can take a lot of people out of tough situations, or growing up in the hood. Music can be your ticket for you, for your your family, and it can be a great tool to use. And you're obviously gifted, man. I'm a big fan. I love your shit. What do you think the future is going to be for you, man?
The future for me, man, I do music because I love it. Actually, I don't care about the fame really. Like I get paid for my music. I get what I need from my music. So it's just like I have some fans, and if one day I make it, and it's just gonna be, I'm still gonna be the same person. Like I know where I came from. Like now I didn't make it as a young rapper, so I'm not gonna go in the game like as a crash dummy trying to impress everybody and doing that. So I learned a lot before I actually get stepped in the game. Like so I'm like my favorite rapper right now is Lil Baby. I just love the way he moves. Like he's always out of the way. He's always out of the drama, but he's one of the biggest stars in the world right now. But you never hear his name when it comes down to, probably hear him with academics all the time, but nothing's gonna come out of that. Academics like but that's pretty much like what my goal is, just to make music that people love and just stay out of the way. Like just mind my business. I'm already living good. I'm already got my own stuff, and I don't really have to go nowhere. But I could really become who I want to be right here. I could become everything right here. That's where it all starts. You got to start somewhere.
Absolutely, brother. And I know that being goal oriented and focused on your dreams can take you to new heights that most people don't ever even try to achieve. I asked somebody just last week, because I love to do the social experiments. It's one of my favorite things to ask. What dreams do you have that you've let fall down by the wayside? And the look on their face every single time is just, it breaks my heart, because I don't think that's even living at that point. to not have any dreams or aspirations or goals
Yeah.
or something you're working towards. I love
Yeah.
that you're a goal driven man. What is your next major goal as far as just your music specifically?
So I'm actually planning on dropping an album around Valentine's Day. Yeah, I got a lot of shit that I haven't released yet, and I feel like this might be the one because I got a lot of fire shit coming out. Like I'm not just bowing, I'm not just capping, but it's just like I just try to take my time now. I don't try to just because first I was just dropping music, no visuals, no visual. Like I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to do. So at one point I had to take some stuff down off platforms because I had dropped like 2 albums and I didn't have no music videos. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? So I'm doing it all wrong. So I had to make sure I had, because I got shit from 2019, 2018 that I never released or I never recorded that I just got stored in my phone. So my next goal, like 2023, I just want to be consistent. I'm living in this place where the visuals, of course, is going to be fire. It's palm trees and beaches everywhere, like, and beautiful people. Like, it's like, there's no way I could. I feel like right now, this year is going to be my time. Like, I feel like even if not, I'm going to make sure I invest in myself no matter what. Because if I don't, who will? Like, I'm gonna make sure everything I got, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop doing music because that's what took me out of a lot of hard situations. Like every time I went through something, I just wrote about it. Then, oh, let's go to the studio. Like people don't like it, but at the same time, they hear what I'm saying. Like it's like I wrote songs about people, and I let them hear it and be like, I hate that. I hate it. Why do you talk about me like that? Like, but that's just how I feel. But everybody else loves it because some people just don't know how to say type of shit. But music, I feel like music helps me express everything. Music helps me express when I'm feeling sad, happy, when I want to get high, when I want to go fuck somebody up, when I want to go do anything. I just talk, just speak. Like, and as an artist, I don't try too hard. I'm laid back and chill. Like when I think I don't rush it. It's like when it comes to me and I know I got something to talk about, I go. I don't like to talk about a lot of bullshit in my music. But sometimes I do. I get drunk and I just go to the studio and just be like, fuck it, I'm lit. But at the same time.
Well, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I know that as any form of expression comes, not just for music, but for like for instance, I was into bodybuilding for years. My self-expression was putting time and effort into building the body I didn't have. I was skinny as shit. I was like 120 pounds. Everyone would call me the skinny motherfucker. I got sick of it and I wanted to make something of myself. So now I'm like 200 pounds. So I definitely look different. I'd feel different. And I've invested all this time into building myself in a different form. But I can definitely resonate with what you said.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. That's another thing too. Like you can't find yourself. I feel like from the time you could get a job, which is probably like 16 to the ages of 37, I feel like your main focus should be your mental health, physical health, and finances. Like females, like if you find a solid one, it's best to stick with one. But worried about all these different types of, because I was a big thing about women. I used to talk to all different types of women, this, that, and the third. But if I think about all the money I could have saved, taking women on dates, doing this, that, and third, trying to impress females and trying to impress dudes too, though. No homo. But at the same time, when I go to the clubs, I was always buying sections, buying bottles, doing this, that. I had to chill. I had to get myself away from everything. And I had to focus on my mental because I really was kind of messed up in the head. So it was like I really had to focus on my mental. And when I did that, I started going to the gym. I started really getting myself together. And that made me feel a lot better about a lot of stuff. It made me feel 100% better.
Absolutely, man. I think fitness is a major contributor to mental health. So a lot of people look at them as two different things. I look at everything as, your physical health, your ability to perform, and especially in violent situations. I take violence very seriously because I have an inherently dangerous job that puts me in the middle of a lot of shit that I don't want to be in, like all the time, and I can't stand it, man. I have to stay strapped. Is what I do. I
Yeah,
don't
you
like
have
being
to.
I don't like riding around naked. I don't like
Right.
being exposed to violent situations, but I need to be in I need to be able
Yeah.
to perform in a shitty situation. If I
Yeah.
don't need to get involved in it and I need to haul ass, I need to haul ass. If
Yeah.
I need to grab somebody and move them like a child out of the way, I have to
Yeah.
do that. You have to
Yeah.
be able to take care of yourself, and that helps me stay cool and calm and collected because I have been in violent situations growing up, and I'm not going to incriminate
100%.
myself or anything, but I've been around hood motherfuckers too, and a
Yeah.
lot of people in the hood, they are trying to do exactly what you mentioned, to stay
Mm.
away from people that are stunting or trying to blow off, and I call it peacocking sometimes when
Mm-hmm.
they try to show off their ego and stuff like that. When a lot of times that's that dangerous person, that person that is coming around the crew just to come around, they might be
Mm-hmm.
a snake in the grass. And
Yeah.
you got to look out for them because they'll do whatever they got to do. When backed into a corner, they'll do whatever they want to do,
Yeah.
and it's usually
100%.
unnecessary, is dangerous. Fucking other people die because of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like bullets flying at me. I'm gonna be honest, man. It gets
Yeah.
annoying as fuck, and it's
Yeah.
just not.
Things like that though, some people just they gotta learn the hard way. Like I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way a few times, but you are 100% right. Like everything is not for you to be involved in. Everything is not your situation. So it's like sometimes you just gotta learn to turn the other cheek. Cause I used to be the one that if you talk to my friend crazy, I'm gonna be the one to do something to you. Like,
Mhm.
so I used to always do that, but it's like, why try to protect somebody that ain't gonna do it for themselves? Like, I'm not gonna continue to put my life on the line, being the one to go to jail, be the one doing this and that. I had to really learn it. I had to grow up as a person, as an individual, because everything is not worth it. Everything not worth it for real, for real. You
Right.
got to, like, you could throw a lot away in a split second and you could be to work for it for years and it could be gone like that. Like it's crazy. I put in 5 hard years in the military and stuff like that, but one little situation was now I'm back to square one. I didn't know what I was gonna do when I got out. I was like, I just had a baby and I just got kicked out of the military. I was like, fuck, I don't know, but I knew trouble don't always last. Like it's something gonna happen. Like I'm gonna be all right. It's just a hard time right now. So, but when I was getting kicked out, I immediately had a job in the shipyards. So it was really not a big deal for me to get kicked out. It was a blessing actually because I could smoke as much weed as I want to at that point. Like I could do whatever I wanted to. So
And if that's what you need to stay cool, calm, and collected, it is what it is. I have a
oh
lot of
yeah,
friends
for sure.
who have a bunch of stuff that they've gone through in their life, and life
Sure.
experiences can definitely weigh on you. There's so many different types of weed out there that
Yeah.
are super beneficial. Like in Colorado,
Right.
Colorado is kind of headlining the experimenting with mushrooms on, especially on people who have PTSD, and
Yeah.
especially for the. I'm gonna be straight up, man. I try not to get on my my culture stint a lot, but especially for Black people, there's a lot of shit that
Yeah.
is institutionalized into our and pushed into our culture that
Yeah.
is, it's not always a positive thing.
Yeah.
Like it's
100%.
not good. It's not always good to celebrate in music, killing another
Mhm.
nigga just because this or that and the third, or
Yeah.
fucking somebody else's bitch, or this,
Yeah.
that, and the third. But you know what? There's a time and a place for a lot of things. I think music and putting it into music is a great form of expression because at the end of
100%.
the day, it's what that artist went through, and that's what I want to commend you for, man. Obviously, you have a daughter now, and
Hell yeah.
obviously, you're looking on to better and things. So you putting
Hell
it
yeah.
your shit in your music, it's really inspiring to me, and I think it also it's going to show people who are younger than you who don't have as much experience that just because they have bad situations, they had bad experiences, doesn't mean they need to throw their life away and keep that shit going. They can change and put and look to music for self-expression,
100%, bro.
get the shit off your shoulders.
As the culture, I just feel like that's why we thrive so much in music and in artistry because when from the day we're born, we like I'm not gonna say we struggle, but we're already looked at differently. Everybody don't have the same struggle, but at the same time, we all have that. We grow up with the thought that we were slaves or this, that, and third. Like we already have that embedded rage in us. So it's like it only takes so much for us to actually let it out. But I feel like with music, people branch out and let it out in different ways. And that's why we're so creative because it's like we come from nothing, so we strive to be the best everything. We try, like whatever we try, I feel like we just like if we actually get to something that we enjoy doing and love doing, I feel like there's nothing that can stop us because it's like we could put that creativity, especially like, I mean, I feel like most artists make the best music and stuff like that off of drugs, like, because I don't know, they just have these deep emotions that's embedded in them that only comes out when they're under their influence. That their creativity is just, it just gets so crazy. Like I love the culture. I love what we do. I love how every fucking Super Bowl or NBA playoff, they playing our music. They want us to perform. Like the last Super Bowl, they had all Black performers because the way we carry ourselves, like we already have that in us. We already have that
fire.
stage presence, you know, like, but we just got to let it out. And I came a long way. Like I'm not nervous no more. Like I came a long way. I did a couple shows in VA. Like I'm just ready. I'm just ready. Whenever my time comes, it's gonna be ready. Like whoever signed me, we gonna go crazy. Like I'm working from the
And I'm super excited for that, man. I'm super excited for that for you. So one thing that I realized over the past little bit, with all these rappers getting killed in the streets, and it's something, and I'm not asking you to be a politician right now. I just want to ask for your own opinion on it, because I've realized that it's how important it is to have a filter on the music that we listen to, right? So some of my biggest inspirations growing up was Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. Like every old school, for me, old school. I wouldn't say for my if my dad was here, he would say that ain't old school. You don't know old school, motherfucker. But that's my old school, right? So I grew up listening to them. I loved listening to the Blueprint growing up.
For sure.
I had to have a filter as a child and understand that I don't want to recreate the things that I hear in my music, because that's somebody else's life. That's somebody else's expression. And those minutes they spend in the studio talking to themselves or the world, where everybody's going to be touched by it and hear that stuff, it's their self-expression of their experiences. And it's not mine. It doesn't have to be mine. I can enjoy it. I can respect the artistry and appreciate the music, but I have to have a filter, or I'm going to take that and it's just going to build on my shoulders. And then one day when somebody's talking shit to me, I'm going to be thinking of that movie, you know, and whip that trick, or, you know, there's like a bunch of, there's a bunch of shit. Like I'm going to bust up somebody's head and shit. So do you think that having a filter is important as well?
I feel like if you're speaking from the heart and you really, if you mean every word you say and you willing to take what comes with it, fuck that filter. Like honestly, like it's on you. It's your choice. I feel like rappers get killed and stuff because of the shit they say, but they act like it's not a problem. Like I feel like if you're gonna say something, like
be about it.
If you're not really about that life, yes, you should have a filter. You should have a filter in everything you say. If you're gonna say something, you should be prepared for whatever it is that comes with that, because you know, obviously, you know you're offending somebody, and obviously, if you put yourself in their shoes, you're gonna be offended. So, I feel like at that point, you should always be strapped. You should talk that, like, if you really think you live in that life, you should really be about that life. If you got anything to say about anybody, girl, if you got something to say disrespectful to anybody, you should be ready. You should be ready. Like it's not even just rap beef no more. Unless y'all talked about this before y'all said this about each other and said, I'm about to say this to you, I feel like you should be ready for what comes with it. Like if it's not playing, whatever they do nowadays to get some hype behind their music, if it's not playing promotion like that, I feel like it's bound to happen.
Keep it 100 and be about your shit.
Be honest, like you 100%. Can't. If you're really not like that, stop rapping about it. Like, see me, I rap about all kinds of stuff. I rap about life. I rap about daughter. I got rock music. I got fucking pop songs. I got shit that I don't always talk about gangster shit, but at the same time, when I do talk about gangster shit, when I say I throw a crip when I walk in these bitch, I really mean that. I really mean that. I'm ready for whatever comes behind that shit. I'm active, but I'm smarter. But at the same time, I know what comes behind it. Like if whatever happens, it's like it is what it is. So I don't expect nobody to feel bad for me if something happened to me behind that song. But you know, people gonna have their own opinions about everything. So I just know that you should be prepared for whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You got to stand on your word. It's essential.
Yeah.
So, top 3 influences that you grew up to, that inspired you, and maybe I'm not going to say inspired you or set you or you copy their style, because I think that's bullshit. What
Okay.
who do you like? Who did you enjoy? Who inspired you to
All right,
develop
I'm
your
not
own
even gonna
style?
lie to you. This is how I learned how to sing. I never knew how to sing until about 2018. I learned how to. I taught myself how to sing, but how I did that, I used to walk around the boat, and I used to be singing Fetty Wap. Oh, I used to do that all day, every day, and I got good as fuck at it. And I'm like, bro, I could sing. So I actually started trying to sing, and I actually just grew and learned what I needed to do, like learn how to not try so hard. I actually just taught myself everything. So I went from rapping to rapping and singing, and then to combining them, and now it just takes practice. I just realized like consistency actually got me far. Now I feel like I'm at a point where now I could get on the beat, and when I'm in the hood, I sit in the skillet room, and then I get on, yeah, well, I could go I'm versatile as shit. I'm versatile as shit now. So I feel like the only way you can not make it is if you stop. Your biggest critic is yourself, because you only get better. Like if you keep going, you're only gonna get better. Keep doing it, you only get better. And one day you're gonna make that motherfucking song that's gonna go crazy. No matter if you 20 or 40, one day you're gonna make a song that is gonna go viral, and you can become rich off that one song, and then investing your money to something else. You only need one. You only need one for real. So it's like I'm already just doing music. I'm never gonna stop doing music because I love music. But once I find that right investment, once I get paid, I'm gonna venture off. I have other things in mind that I want to do too. So this right here is just the beginning of my studio. Like I have a whole studio in my closet right now, but eventually it's gonna be a real studio. It's gonna be, but I'm just waiting until I get my degree and everything now. But I feel like I see the vision. Everything's gonna turn out the way it's supposed to. I don't have no doubt about it.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. So I know that there's a whole lot that goes into creating a track. You have to find the right beat. You have to develop the right breathing techniques, flow, make sure it doesn't sound too choppy. They have to mix it and they have to master it. There's so many different components that go into it. How do you start? What are the things that, if I was a new artist and I was looking for some advice, hey brother, what do I do to get into this?
So any free time, if you're a new artist, any free time you get, right. Any free time you feel like you got something to say or you thinking of something, right. Because there's been 1,000 times that I've sat in my head and said some major hard shit. And then when the time I come to write it, I forget it. So I just feel like any artist, future artist, you should write when you think of something that you feel like will be a hit, or you think of something that feel like might work in the industry. If you want to go give it, if you even thinking about giving it a chance, write that shit down. Write that shit down. Don't even just write it down and see how it's gonna sound later. See if you still like it. So write it down, but at the same time, me now, I'm kind of deep into it now. So I could go to the studio and I feel like I make my best songs when I go to the studio and the producer makes the beat, or I just hear the beat for the first time and I write right then and there. Like if I go to the studio and the producer plays a beat and give me 10 minutes to write, I feel like that's gonna be my bit. That's what I do. That's what I do now. Like I go to the studio and give me a beat. You play it and I just take 10, 15 minutes to write, and then I just go in. Go in, ad libs, everything comes natural to me. So I just first take, I know exactly if I want to sing or do anything. I feel like that's how I make my best songs, but also my most emotional songs, like far as like I feel like the most sentimental songs, my favorite, like Suicide, I feel like that was my best unpromoted song because I never put any money behind it. I just posted it on YouTube and it got almost 10,000 views on it. So I feel like, and on SoundCloud, it's going crazy too. So that one, I was in the psych ward for a minute. I wrote it in the psych ward. I really just wrote the whole thing down. And then when I got out, just found a beat and it went perfect. It went perfect with the song. So sometimes I just write and just hope I find a beat. One day I'm gonna find a beat for it. So it's all kinds of beats out there. So I feel like writing, you can never go wrong with writing. You could, even if you write it and don't find a beat, you could easily hop on somebody's live streamers freestyling if you don't find a beat. Like, you don't need a beat. You don't need a beat if you write it. So I could go in and freestyle too. I don't have to write anymore, but I'll be punching in. I don't like the freestyle because I feel like I'm gonna end up saying some bullshit that's gonna be like, oh, I killed that nigga. But I don't want to even, like, if I say something like that in my freestyle, I'm gonna take it out. Like, I'm gonna take it out because I don't even want to betray that. I don't want to. I'm done. Like, if it goes good with the song and I'm making a hood song, then that's what I'm gonna do. It depends on what subject I'm trying to go. But if my song start off about me talking about women or something like that, and I end up talking about I'm a killer, I'm be like, yo, take that out, take that out, take that out. Like, that's what I do. I try to stick to stuff that, so I make songs for white people too. I make songs for everybody. I love everybody's culture. I try to make fucking Caribbean music. I try to make everything. Like, I don't put the blame on what we went through on nobody in today's time. Like,
That's
nobody
awesome, man.
yeah, nobody here was alive, so I know we still have some motherfucker that think they was that wanna carry on their family legacy and shit of racism or whatever, but at the same time, they never did anything to me. And if they do something to me, I know what I'm going to do back. So they're never going to belittle me. They're never going to belittle me or make me feel like I'm less of a person. So I feel like everybody deserves a chance. If you don't, I don't like. I have to literally interact with you before I judge you. I can't judge you without anything. I just know the shit that we go through is rejection. Like, we get rejected a lot. And sometimes I feel like that has to do with color, but sometimes I feel like you really just gotta find it. Like, some people get rejected and blame it on racism. And I'm like,
well, it might, yeah. I think a lot of people use,
yeah,
and I want to make sure I say this the right way. A lot of people will look within their skin color and try to find things that are wrong with it.
Yeah.
To use as an excuse. There is nothing bad about being black. Nothing bad about being white or everything in between, man. There's beauty in every single culture. And one of my favorite things that my grandpa said, my grandpa was a Black Panther. He said, so I asked him, I said, do you still feel the same way that you felt back in the day? He said, absolutely not. I feel completely different because I've had more life experience. And I think that a lot of the same motherfuckers you're talking about, the racist cunts out there that are stuck in their ways and shit. Yeah. If they're met with the exact same thing, racism, they're gonna it's not gonna be any positive. I mean, if they're met with violence, I'm not gonna say anything against that. I think that's awesome. I think that violence is a tool to be used. So, but man, to look at somebody else and just be like, hey, man, you're darker than me, so you're garbage, or you're lighter than me, so you're garbage, or you have blonde hair and blue eyes, or you have black hair and dreads. Like, none of that shit is kosher, man. We all have something great to provide. I've and even more of that, I've met the most dangerous, like, growing up, I met the most dangerous white boys that I've ever met. Some people who adopted me as their nephew, people who
literally shit you not, bro. This might be like a little confusing or might piss some people off, but we literally have a white boy. We might have a white boy in the hood that could walk around and say nigga with no problems. Nobody's gonna say anything to him because from the moment he was born, he was in the projects with us, like tatted up, like he was in licks, doing everything with us. So that's like one, but he's smart though. He don't say it like but at the same time, he's around us. That's like one person that he can, like, sometimes I have a problem with it at the same time, but at the same time, it's like, I be thinking like he really knows our culture. He talks like us. He walks like us. He does everything we do. He really brings it. So at the same time, it's like, I don't judge him for saying, like, you literally have to do something to me for me to judge. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely, man. I mean, I would call it a cultural thing, right? So, like, the word nigga, like, it's derived
Negus. I think it's I'm pretty sure it's an Ethiopian term. If I did my research correctly, it's an Ethiopian term. It's a term of in today's society. It's used as just a phrase or a term of endearment for another human being, right? It's not even meant like, but it's very very different than from some some racist hick comes
Yeah.
down and says, oh,
Yeah.
you know, hey nigger, you're blah 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 blah, and that's a whole nother story, man. Because there are people out there that are like I've had my run-ins with them.
Yeah. I
There
base
are
most
people who will pull up. Yeah.
it's really with me, it's based off of intentions. It's
Mm-hmm.
based off all your intentions. If your intentions is to hurt my feelings, then I'm gonna take it. You hurt my feelings, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. So I don't like when my feelings get hurt. So it's like
no one does, man.
call me, if you call me any type of thing, and I feel like you doing that to insult me in some type of way, then we have a problem. But with the guy that I was talking about, I know his intentions are never bad. I know he never means any harm or something like that. But me, I'm a kind of prideful guy. I tell him when he's tripping, like, bro, you say that again, I'm smacked. Let him know. So you have to make sure they don't get carried away with it. But at the same time, it's like when you're having fun, man. Some people, like, I'm a fun person. I like to have fun. I'm not just gonna shun you because you have like you was raised around us too. Like I'm not gonna stop you from saying something. Like I'm not God. I'm not God. I'm never gonna, like, I used to act like I'm fucking God sometimes, and I'm like, I can't control shit. I'm not like, I learned to stop stressing about shit you can't control.
100%,
like
man.
the important thing about life that you gotta do, because stress could kill you. Stress could kill you for real.
For real, man. And I think you touched on that earlier. You said you were you've definitely had some tough times in your life, and you wrote the song Suicide. So I wanted to ask, what were you feeling, man? What were you thinking? What life experience drove you to pour that into music, man? Because obviously you're still here, and I'm thankful for it, man. There's not a lot that's said about people who look like you and me,
yeah,
and mental health at all. It's because it's not a thing. It's toughen the fuck up. Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, facts. Like,
And that ain't cool, man.
Facts. That shit's crazy. I hate that too, because we already go through much as it is. Like, we already got to provide. We already got to do this, that, and the third. But when we have our issues, it's like, get over it. Like, can't just expect us to get over shit. Like, but at the same time, most people do it. We pull it off. Like, we hold our head up high, and that's just what you got to do. That song Suicide, that song came from my heart, because my friend actually walked in on me. I had a gun to my head, and he stopped me and he called the cops, and I had to go. Like, it was, but at that point, I was getting out. You feel me? And everybody was like, "Oh, he's doing that. It's a pump fake, this, that, and the third." But at the same time, no, like, you see it, and it was all the
gossip girls,
color people. It was all the different color people saying that. So that's what it's like damn, like, that's crazy. Like, my chain of command, like, that, it was all the different color people telling me that I was just pump faking. But if I would have actually off myself that night, it would have been like,
then, oh no, now we can't, and I don't like that shit, man.
It's crazy. So that song, it literally, I was in there and I made sure that I actually took advantage of the program. Like, I was in there, I was making sure I wrote my music, I was getting time to myself, I was getting a lot of sleep, catching up on sleep, because there was a point where I couldn't sleep at all. Like, so I was making sure I did my thing, and then I just started writing songs. I wrote how I was feeling on because you get bored, and then you want to just see what you could create. You get bored and you don't have nothing to do, and I really was like, how am I feeling right now? And I actually wrote a banger. And I'm like, damn. But at that point, it was like, it was kind of selfish of me, because I had just had my baby. It was kind of selfish, but at the same time, it was a lot of pain going on. Like, my mom, my mom sent me a long disappointment text message, and that's like, I didn't know my father till I was like 13 for real. I thought a whole nother guy was my father. My last name used to be different. Everything used to be different.
Same, man. I didn't know my dad till I was 17, dude.
Yeah, and then everything was just taken away from me, and now I got a deadbeat. Well, I ain't gonna say deadbeat because he came around, but at the same time, it was not like the time. Like, we never. never learned. He never taught me how to be a man. You feel me? Never taught me nothing. Came around Christmas, my birthday, this, that, and the third. So
a lot of years of pain, dude. A lot of years of pain.
It was kind of tough. But growing up where I'm from, bro, it's kids walking around in diapers and shit. Like, it's like, you gotta fuck it, get to it. Whenever you get of that age, get to it. Whenever you get of that age, that's what you gotta do. You gotta find your route. However way you gonna make money, you're gonna do it.
100%, man.
So I found myself in a situation that made me want to leave home when I had already fucking joined, but I was still kind of like, I don't want to go. So I went through the situation where a guy hit my mom, and I almost ended everything I ever thought. Like, I we hawked him down. I was walking up the street, and I put a gun to his head. I was literally about to kill him. My mom had to cry. In order for me not to do something to him, because he had just touched my mom. So a whole bunch of, after that, I just got away because everything was just getting crazy. And then I just found myself like putting that's when I actually started writing. When I actually left to go in basic training and stuff like that, that's when I started writing. That's when I started, because I was going through withdrawals. I was off drugs. I was like, I need something to do to keep me fucking going, because I'm getting in trouble too much. I'm gonna get fucking kicked out already. Like, oh, what I'm about to do. So I ended up going through with it, and I actually had a good run, but I knew that's what didn't want to do. I knew I was gonna stick with music. I met so many fucking music producers. I met so many because of that one quick decision that I made. And that was a blessing.
So the Navy was a stepping stone for you, I would say.
Stepping stone. Like, I mean, like, it took me off from damn near my grave. It took me from damn to my grave, and it brought me to this. Now I'm good, like, now. But it's like, a lot of people gonna be like, he's in the military, you want to try to rap now. Your favorite rappers. And
do you know how many motherfuckers from the hood there are in the military? I hate people that say that shit,
like,
man.
Yeah, it would be like, you trying to rap now, but it's like, shit, your favorite rapper from the hood, he telling now. He up on the stand testifying. You will never get that.
Testifying.
You will never get that with me, y'all.
To the feds.
Yeah,
they'll snitch to the feds. I would
I'm the most solid nigga out, if you ask me. Shit.
100%, man. I had a lot of people who do great things once I left the military. You're definitely on my list of people when I think of who's doing good things once I left the military. And your idea of good things might not be somebody else's. Maybe someone else's is real estate. Maybe someone else's is working on elevators and escalators, like me. Like, I did. Yeah. I knew I wanted to come home and be with my wife, right? She is my, I'm more blessed and lucky than I could ever imagine. She's a great woman. You know, she just started, today's her first day of doing hair after hair school. You know, she's always aspiring to new things. She's working on a real estate license right now. She's trying to aspire to she never stops doing new things. And I love it. But that's the same for a lot of people who leave the military. The others, very, very sadly, they struggle with the transition and they don't know their path. They're lost, dude. And it sucks to hear that, because, you know, we deploy with these motherfuckers. Yeah. We know you probably know some people more than their own family do. And some people probably know me more than most people in my family do as well, man.
100%. People turn into spots. Whole different people. People, when they get, that shit changes people. I ain't gonna lie, that shit, for the better or worse, it changes people. No, yeah. But I feel like it did the justice for me. Even though I went through a lot of bullshit, I did a lot of dumb shit. I still feel like it was all just stepping stones. Like, I learned a lot. A lot. I don't regret nothing, not one bit. I don't regret not one bit of what I did, nothing. I wouldn't even have a little bit of the mindset I have now without going through all of that shit. I had to.
Well, I can tell you definitely elevated over the course of your hardship in your life. You know, having suicidal ideations it's not spoken about in a Black community at all. It's disgusting to me. Because it's a really big thing. How many of us grew up without fathers? Like, it's literally a joke in comedy shows about us growing up without fathers. Like, that's how real it is. If it's in a comedy shows, you know it must be true. Dave Chappelle be talking about that shit all the time. But there are serious issues we have. We're told that it's okay to be violent towards each other just because
Fight
this is our
back.
community. This is our
Fight back.
situation.
Somebody hit you, you better hit them back. Boom, boom.
Yes.
That's what we taught. So that's how we do it. Like
Mhm.
no matter what color they is, they hit you in the back. Ain't no stop the violence. Ain't no keep the peace. You better.
No peace. I think Kendrick Lamar talked. No, wasn't Kendrick Lamar. It was The Game. Man, he was freestyling on LA Leakers, and he said something that I really appreciated him saying, because it's a controversial as shit what he said. But he said, Black Lives Matter, won't they? But niggas will kill niggas, won't they? No, he said in Home Invasion. He said that, and I said, you know what? That's a really interesting thing, because Kendrick Lamar talked about it on his album that he released. And when you and me were deployed on the TR in 2015, the best deployment crew, by the way, best deployment crew.
That's hell yeah, that's
the best,
latest shit ever. I don't think nobody had us beat.
Yeah,
but
no,
I do understand what you're saying though, because what did you just say about it again?
So The Game said Black Lives Matter, don't they? But niggas will kill niggas, won't they? And Kendrick Lamar on his album, on the song Black of the Berry, is the last bar. So he said, so why did I cry when Trayvon Martin was in the street when gangbanging made me kill a nigga blacker than me? And so I would call those superior perspective building statements, because not because it's not true, or not because it is true. He's sharing his perspective, and that's what's so beautiful about rap. That's what's so beautiful about the hip hop. Hip hop culture don't have to be black culture, man.
Yeah. Another beautiful thing about rap is you could create somebody else's story. Like some people don't like to talk about their issues, but if they hear the exact same thing they're going through over a song, they're gonna sing that shit to the bottom. They're gonna sing that. They're gonna make sure that they listen to the song. So it's like a lot of people don't like to talk about their issues. So sometimes when I write, I think about other people's problems. I think about the shit other people going through. Somebody could tell me a whole life story of what they're going through, and I'll take bits and pieces and I'll put it in my music to the point where they don't know the extremes, like who I'm talking about, this right there. But it's like when I say, you cheated on me, and that. Somebody's gonna say that shit to the bottom, from the bottom of their heart, because that's something that other people going through. I might not be the one going through it, but I know somebody's gonna relate. And it's like Black. I feel like we're the most powerful culture, but we're the most diverse. Like we don't stick together like the other. Like the thing about it is, if I was to go fight a Jamaican right now, the Jamaican, if it's another Jamaican around, he's going to help him. Like, it's going to be, no matter what, it
ain't going to be good.
It ain't going to be good. If I fight a Samoan or Hawaiian, they're going to stick together. If I fight anybody else, but if I see a black guy fighting a white guy, I'm going to let it be one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's crazy. I feel like that's how most shits is. Like, a lot of cultures, they really take care of each other. They literally would do anything, give them the bag off of their back. Like,
anything.
Because now I live in this place, bro. I swear these people would give me anything. These people would, like, they would help you. They would give you their last. Like, I swear, the culture I live in now is so much better than where I come from. It's like, if they see a struggle, they're going to do their best to help you. Like, whatever they got to offer, they'll help you. So I feel like if our culture was more like that, like, you see somebody trying to make it, share that shit. Like, I don't, like, share the music, share this. Like, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, he's the most popular fucking artist out right now, and I never heard one song from him. But his Spanish audience is so crazy and loyal to him that he's just out of this, he's untouchable. He's unreachable.
Yeah, unreachable.
Like, he has the culture, the Spanish culture has his back 1,000%. So I feel like if we did that, like, say for instance, if the Black community looked at all artists, it's, I mean, some music is trash. I mean, some music is just trash. You can't get it. But
100%, man. Yeah.
But if the Black community looked at the artists and not, because a lot of times I find I'm not being a hypocrite, because I do it myself. A lot of times I'll go on the internet, I'll see some music, and I'd be like, oh, this shit hard as fuck. And I just keep scrolling. I just keep scrolling. Don't share it. Don't do nothing. Like I find myself doing it too. But I feel like if that was a Spanish person and he seen somebody from his city and he was just rapping and it actually sounded good, he'll press the share button.
100%.
From where I'm from, oh shit, he's just like me. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna try to help him out. I feel like a lot of cultures have that. Like here, right now.
You're absolutely right, man. It right down the way, man. I have across the street. I have a Hispanic family, right? I'm pretty sure they're from Mexico. I don't want to fuck it up, but I'm about 99% sure. Okay, because I asked them that before, but I was just in passing, right? So I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I'm pretty sure they're Hispanic, right? So I talked with them. They're business partners, all of them. Mm-hmm. And every single day at 4 a.m., all the trucks pull up. All the Ford F-150s, they all have Ford F-150, different colors, different shades, whatever. And at first, I'm gonna be honest, I thought they were dealing dope because this is usually what dope dealers do. They pull up at strange hours, they all meet up, and then they all roll out. And in the middle of the night, they'll pull up and stuff like that, whatever. This is the most hardworking man across the street, and then Lalo. And he spends all his time, so he does drywall. His friend, who is from the same culture as him, not even the same city, just the same culture, Hispanic, his friend does plumbing. His other friend's an electrician. All them work together to build houses.
All their money comes together.
All their money comes together. They have family dinners. They have quinceañeras. It's a beautiful celebration of every time a child is born. They do it across the street.
You don't even really see family reunions.
You don't see that anymore, man. Like family reunions and stuff like that. I think that we can all not just Black people, right? Because obviously not all my listeners are Black, but I'm just saying this is my perspective. I wish people from my family, my culture, were able to move forward in a positive way. And I was watching Empire the other day with my wife, and the young man Hakeem said on there, we argue at family reunions, birthday cookouts and birthdays.
Yeah.
Like and that really messes with me because I think I grew up with that. I grew up with that shit. But I wish that we could all work together, man.
Whether we know it or not, other cultures go through the same thing.
100%.
Every culture has gangsters. Every culture,
man.
Kill you. And every culture has family reunions. And every culture has family that don't like one another. 100%. But they still come together. They still make sure if somebody get out of line, everybody's gonna correct one person. You have to leave. I've witnessed it in other cultures. I've witnessed it here where I'm at right now. Just New Year's, I was with my girl's family, and stuff got out of line with some family members, and politely wouldn't even know it if you didn't know what was going on. He was gone. You didn't even. But we tried again the next day. Everybody came together. That's what they do. That's what they do in other cultures, and it's not just like back in the day when Jay-Z, everybody came out, they actually made good music. So when the Black community seen a Black person actually making good music, everybody came together and made sure Jay-Z was the Black community was unstoppable back then. It was crazy. I feel like everybody stuck together that's when fucking Rodney King, everybody was protesting. That's when everybody was sticking up for one another. Now it's you play with me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you first. I'm gonna do this. Now it's not back then. It was like that too. But no matter who was beefing with one another, you didn't have a lot of people picking sides. Like when Tupac and Biggie was beefing, Tupac's fans were Biggie fans. Biggie's fans were Tupac fans. You don't have people trying to pick sides, choose sides, and the young minorities were picking a side and trying to become one person's ops because they just don't like that he's beefing with his favorite rapper. Nowadays, people don't even know NBA Youngboy, but if you speak on his name, you don't like NBA Youngboy, I'm gonna kill you. I'll kill you.
Yeah, man.
NBA better, this, that, and third. It's always about who's better. It's never about we all get into it, we all doing our thing.
100%, man. And I would love right now if I could take all my money out of Chase Bank and go over to a Black bank and invest my money with a Black bank. I would love nothing more. You know why? Because my grandpa was a Black Panther, because his grandpa was a slave, because my grandpa was in the Vietnam War and called a nigger by the people who were shooting at the same people he was getting shot at by, I want that. I want that. I want to support other Black people. I want to support Black-owned businesses. I want to do it all.
Yeah.
I think we can do it, and I think we can move in a direction that emulates love for our culture without division within our culture, and in a way that also doesn't hate on white people at the same time, because I think that's where we failed a lot of times. I know a lot of different people who would love nothing more than invest in Black-owned businesses as well, but sometimes they don't respond well to be calling a punk ass white boy or something like that, right? So, and it's just what it is, man. Well, I have to know, what is your favorite part about when you're in the studio?
Shit. Honestly, bro, when I'm high as fuck, bro, this is what I see in the studio. And then I be like, when I'm in here and I just be chilling, I just be having my vibe set.
All right.
I just really just get high, and I literally just, my favorite thing about this setting right here is just knowing that I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I can talk about real shit because I've been through real shit, and that I have the ability. I have everything I need. I have everything I need to make it. I have really don't have much to complain about. So my favorite thing is comfortability. Like, when I know I could talk about some shit and mean it, and I know I don't have to lie. I know I don't have to try too hard. I feel like that's my favorite thing, because anybody can rap. Anybody can rap. I feel like there's a lot of people that can rap. So many people that can rap, but to make music, it takes talent. It takes creativity. It takes even imagination sometimes. So it's like you have to be able to, you can't just be able to rap. That's one thing about it. You can't just be able to rap. Rapping is not going to make it nowadays unless you just fire Kendrick Lamar, Jake, like, unless you just on that path and you know how to use your words. But now I feel like you have to be catchy. It's more about being catchy, because 9 times out of 10, any song you hear today, somebody's already said it in the song. It's the way they say it that makes it different, makes it better.
Switch up the flow.
Yeah,
same shit.
Today, all you hear is, "You play with me, I'm gonna kill you," and then you hear somebody, "I'm gonna take your top off." Like, you hear somebody just say it different, say it in a different way, and it's like, oh shit, this is really, it's fire. It's like you have to just be different. You gotta be different. You can't come in like anybody else unless you. So if you want to come in and rap like Young Thug, you can't be rapping about the same thing Young Thug's rapping about. You have to make sure somebody else is feeling a different value, or you're gonna feel it, or they're gonna criticize you. Social media could be your best or worst friend.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I have to know, because you are your toughest critic, obviously. Like you already spoke about it a couple times. What are your favorite songs that you've ever put together and put out to the world? If for the new listeners that are listening right now, what would you want them to listen to? Where you really showcased your artistry, flow?
That is already out right now?
Yes.
The song that's already out right now, I feel like I put my most into is probably Good Enough, actually. For my daughter, Good Enough it actually has 70,000 on YouTube right now. That's actually my highest stream one. So I feel like at that one, that was my first time having my daughter in the studio, and I actually put her to the mic, and she was, "Daddy, I love you, Daddy." This, that,
I listened to that, and I'm gonna be honest. I was driving to work this morning, listening to it, and I might have teared up a little bit. All right, me and my wife are having kids this year, so I'm all baby crazy right now.
That shit melts in my heart. So I feel like that was my most successful, my most emotional, my most heartfelt one. My most heartfelt song is Gotta Be Good Enough. But I like Play With Myself too, because that's my first video I ever done back in the hood. Like I started taking rap serious when I was away from home. So I actually came to Virginia with like 300 followers on Instagram. Now I got 11,000 from doing shows and doing all kind of shit in Virginia. So I actually branched out in Virginia. So I feel like Play With Myself, I did that at my hometown, and that's my first actual video. and it's fire. It's fucking. It shows a different side of me. It's not singing and it's not all of that all the time. So I feel like those two are probably my top two right now.
Absolutely, man. Well, I love both of them for sure. Well, kind of just wrapping up here. If there's anything you'd like to say to somebody who's on the fence about getting into music, what would you do? What would you say to them?
No matter what, you're gonna make that good song. Just keep going. You're gonna make a song that you might not even like, but somebody like you gotta. So I have a couple songs now that I have, and I don't really like them, but when I play them for somebody, they're like, "Yo, that's fire! You need to put that out. I can't wait to bump that." So you gotta just keep making music, keep creating, keep dropping. You not gonna make it nowhere having a whole bunch of songs in your phone and not on no platforms. Just have confidence in yourself. If you don't, like I said at the beginning, if you don't invest in yourself, nobody will. If I see you on SoundCloud and I don't see you on Apple Music, I'm not really gonna want to listen to you like that because I stream all my music on Apple Music where you have to pay. So if you don't invest in yourself, you have to get out there. You have to get out there. That's one thing. It's not really about what you know, it's about who you know too. So make sure you consistency, pass out fucking flyers, do something that makes you different. Do something that makes you different.
Absolutely, man. Well, I do appreciate all your time. I know you're on island time right now, so it's a little bit different than over here. Thanks for time traveling to make this happen.
Man. I appreciate you too, man.
All right, my brother. Where can people find you? Obviously, anywhere music is played, but where do you want people to find you on the gram?
Sure. Follow me on Instagram at Blak Heni. All my social media is the same: Twitter, Instagram. That's pretty much all I have. TikTok, Blak Heni, everything. Anything you got, you can find me at Blak Heni.
Excellent, man. Well, I do appreciate your time, and I will be sure to post all the links in the description as well. I love your music, but brother, I love what you stand for as well, authenticity and being raw, talking about the shit you've gone through. You know, it might not be everybody else's experience, but it's yours. And I love that you put it all out there. I love that you air shit out and you keep it 100%.
For sure. That's BLAKHENI. Follow me.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it, y'all. All right. Much love, brother. Thank you for your time.